So since we've spoken about, being Shaitan's follower, okay, those who follow him, being his brother, being his sister, shouldn't it be obvious that he's an enemy to us? Shouldn't it be obvious that we're supposed to be fighting against him? It should be to us, but unfortunately, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala point out in the Quran? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. That verily Shaitan is an enemy to you, so take him as an enemy. And many of the scholars, they comment on that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasizing take him as an enemy is that a lot of people don't realize that Shaitan is their enemy. We don't take it very seriously because he's not an enemy that's manifest to us. He's not someone that we can see. And so we just, tend not to fight against him. We tend not to take our precautions with the Shaitan because we don't really believe he exists at times. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Inna shaytana lakum adu. Verily, Shaitan is to you an enemy, okay, to each and every single one of you. All right? فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. Even when you don't realize that he's at war with you, he's still at war with you. All right? So he doesn't wait for you to become aware of that, to fight against you. All right? He's not an ethical enemy. All right? He's going to attack you, especially when you're heedless. In fact, he feasts on your heedlessness. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about him, إِنَّمَا يَدْعُ حِزْبَهُ لِيَكُونُوا مِنْ أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. That verily he calls his people to be amongst those who are burned in torment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pointing out to us many different things here with this reckless creation now. He says, إِنَّمَا يَدْعُ. That verily the only goal that he has, the only thing that Shaitan has to live for now, is to take people to hell, right? And that's a really powerful expression. Why? Because Allah is telling us that this enemy of yours, he has no other incentive in life. He can't get back to Jannah. He is rajim. He's completely expelled from Jannah. So there's no entering into paradise. He doesn't have that incentive. There is no lessening of the punishment. So whether he manages to lead 300 people astray or 3 billion people astray, it's the same thing, all right? It's not going to lessen or increase his punishment in any way. And, they always say that the most dangerous person in the world is someone who has nothing to live for. Shaitan has nothing to fuel him except for leading you to the fire just as he's going to the fire. And in essence, he wants to make sure that he takes as many people down with him. He wants to make sure that he's not lonely in his misery because he knows that he's going to be miserable. He knows that he's stuck in that situation. And this is a very dangerous situation for anyone to be in, and that's a very dangerous enemy to have. Someone who has no limits, has no fear, and has no other incentive except to harm you. And Rasulullah says, Inna shaytana qa'da li ibni Adama bi atruqihi. That verily the Shaitan is, he has placed an obstacle, or he is, sitting in every single path of the son of Adam, meaning he has, made it a point to be in your face when you wake up, when you're sleeping, the first thing when you walk out of your house, the first thing when you enter into your house, when you sit down to eat, when you think, when you're thinking about going to sleep, when you're trying to wake up. Shaitan is sitting there and he is working against you at all times. He doesn't take a break. He's a 24-hour enemy. And subhanAllah, the only way that you can disarm him when you go to sleep, for example, from not tying knots on your head is by remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, he's going to spend the night working on you, tying those knots on your head. You cannot disarm him except with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is constant against you, and he is constantly working to lead you astray. And all he needs for you, as the Prophet ﷺ told us, is for you to just bite on one of those things that he throws your way, right? He's just constantly throwing out this bait and waiting for you to bite, to take you away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is why the Prophet ﷺ, when he drew Sirat al-Mustaqim, when he made this analogy and he drew the straight path, he said that there are all of these doors on the side of that path, and there's a curtain on those doors. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has protected you from it. But there's a shaitan that is on top of each one of those doors saying, come this way, come this way, come this way. And there's a caller on top of that shaitan saying, don't come this way, stay on the straight path. All the shaitan wants you to do is to walk into just one of those doors so that he can lead you to your torment, so that he can lead you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Al-Hafidh ibn Kathir rahimahullah ta'ala, the author of this beautiful work, he says very powerfully, he says, As-sa'idu man khalafahu, وَالشَّقِيُّ مَنِ اتَّبَعَهُ. السعيد من خالفه والشقي من اتبعه. He says that a person who is sa'id, who is happy, right, is the one who does not listen to him, the one who disobeys the shaitan. وَالشَّقِيُّ, and the deprived person is the one who follows him. Now, why is that such a powerful statement? Because if you go back to the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ mentions the angel coming to the womb and the angel writing down certain things that have been decreed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the things that the angel writes down is whether he is sa'id or shaqi, whether he's a happy person or someone who will be deprived. Okay? So truly, deprivation is following the shaitan, is following your desires. Even though you're enjoying your desires, you are actually being deprived. What are you being deprived of? The mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the ability to have a meaningful relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. True deprivation is not in depriving yourself from your desires, but it's in following those desires. And true happiness is not indulgence. True happiness is depriving yourself of things that are impermissible and things that entail the disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you enjoyed and benefited from this video. If you did, then please do share it. And if you'd like to follow the rest of the series, then please do click on the top box. And if you'd like to see all of the other episodes and the other videos we have to offer, then please click on the box under that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing content.